So you want to know how to make homemade prison wine. Well, we're fixing to get into it. This is one of those type of skills that I learned in prison, but routinely I make homemade wine here at the house, right? Because I'm the kind of guy, like, I either like to drink really, really good beer, or really, really good homemade wine, with a high alcohol content, so you don't have to guzzle 4 bottles and urinate like a racehorse, you can, what are you doing, bro? You don't have to go through all that. You can drink yourself a couple of bottles and you're good to go. So I tell you what, you can also make excellent homemade wine out of even something like this, caramels, Today we're going to talk about the art of winemaking, and it is definitely an art. A lot of things go into it. I equate it to baking bread. It's a very similar process in the sense that the ingredients are relatively simple. However, you have to use an order of operations that catapults the fermentation process. And the way you actually go about doing that is by using what is called a kicker. All right. Your goal is to get the most alcohol as possible out of the ingredients that you put into the wine. And the way you go about doing that is design your ingredients so it maximizes the ability of the yeast to eat the sugar, which actually turns into alcohol, is what you're going for. And we're going to do it, prison style. Now, some of the ingredients I have here, you'd be easily available in a prison, even if they don't sell a lot of items in the commissary that you need. If you got the right plug-in, say, down at the mess hall in the bakery, because they still have a CO's mess hall, and they eat sugar and baked products and maybe certain things that are not available to the general inmate population. That doesn't mean it's not available at some point in the prison. So there's a lot of ways to get your hands on things. You can make wine out of soda. You can make wine out of fruit juice. You can make wine out of an assortment of products. Instant rice, sugar, and yeast, I've found, make a really good fast-acting wine. This right here is actually a bottle that I brought home from federal prison. I would have 8, 10, 12 of these bottles working at the same time every time I would make a batch. And the way I would make a really fast batch, in about 36 hours, you can really get a phenomenal jug of wine. All right, if you have the right kicker in play. So today we're going to go through the whole process of actually how to make this kicker, how to ferment this wine as quickly as possible, and have a nice smooth drink in less than 48 hours. Yes, making you an official kicker, and that'll get the process going and produce some top-notch wine in 48 hours or less. As you can see, I put that whole pack of yeast in a relatively small amount of water. You can see the measuring cup as it lies up against the spoon. So I heated it about, 15 seconds or so in the microwave, just got it lukewarm. That's the whole packet of instant yeast. Definitely available in prison if you got the right connect. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put 3 spoons of white granulated sugar in there to get it activated. And because I can, I'm going to put a spoon of coconut sugar in there. It really gives it a phenomenal taste. So, this is prison style wine. But, I have the fortune of being on the street, so I can make it taste a little better. Yeah, my little boy, he's all interested in what's going on, as always. Now, I must warn you, this wine is not necessarily for quote-unquote connoisseurs. It's for individuals who have limited funds, want a good quality wine with a high alcohol content that makes in 48 hours or potentially less, 36 to 48 hours. That's a good time frame from the beginning to the end. What I did in prison They sell these water jugs in federal prison at all compounds, and some places even sell big, all kind of stuff. But this is a standard issue water jug in all federal prisons. They sell them on the commissary. And I would have about 20 of these, right? And you can pop them so the wine can breathe, and you can sell them. So I would make about 20 of these at a time, right? I have them up under wherever I had them, all right? And there's, you can make wine in trash bags and all kind of things. But I would make it in this because this is a quart jug. So if I make a quart of wine, you know, it's real convenient, easy to strain, and right to the point. So I could go up with a batch, say, you know, Tuesday night, and let it go all the way until Friday afternoon. It'd be ready, drain it, be on the market by early Friday evening, you know. And that way everybody can watch football games, do whatever they like to do, kick back, drink them a nice quart of a good quality wine. Hey, man, when I ask people to hit the like and subscribe button, I'm not just doing that for the fun of it. I'm doing it because it helps the channel grow. All right. If you enjoy my content, man, if you're picking up what I'm laying down, and I know a lot of people do because a lot of my videos have thousands and thousands of views, and I'm sitting here with 308 subscribers, man, because people are digging the content, but they're too lazy to pick the remote up and hit like and subscribe. So check it out, man. I only show love to those who show love to me, man. So if you're too lazy and you don't care about cool content, small creators, man, stop watching my content. I make this content for people who show love back, man. All right, I don't make it for people who want to watch the content or are too lazy or just don't care enough about small creators to pick the remote up and hit like and subscribe, man. That'll take you a couple of seconds, and it really helps the channel out, man. It costs money to buy gas to go on stealth camping trips and cameras and all kind of other supplies that are necessary to pull this show off, man. So, you know, do me a favor, man, and hit the like or subscribe button, or just stop watching my content. Whichever one suits you the best, it works for me, man. Now you can see how that yeast has started to do its thing. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to beat a little bit, liquefy it back down, and I'm going to put some of that flour in it. That's whole wheat flour. You can use regular bleach flour, whatever. And what it does is it just gives it a bonding agent to stick to. I'm just beating it down so I can put this flour in it. Beat that down real good like that. I added the flour. Come on, man. You're all up in my video. I added that flour. I'm going to let it sit there. You can see it's starting to work already. It was already very well activated, and that's very important. You want that yeast and sugar and some warm water like I showed you. Let it sit for about 10-15 minutes. Let it do its thing. You can come back, beat it down a little bit, put that flour in it. What that does is it gives it a bonding agency. So I'll put about a quarter spoon of that in each little bottle of wine that I make. For this purpose, I'm just going to make one bottle of wine. But if I was going to make like a, you know, mass production type of operation, I put about a half a spoon of that kicker in each bottle of wine. We get back to it, let it do its thing. Now, as you can see here, I've used rice as my starch source. I mean, you could use potatoes, you could use, you know, bread if that's all you had, but instant rice is an excellent starch source. I've used white rice and brown rice for my starch source. I'm going to bypass the granulated sugar. What I did is I put about 2 spoons of organic coconut sugar in it. And for my primary sugar source, I'm going to use jelly. Now, that's strawberry jelly, but you could use any jelly source. I just like the taste of it when it's a finished product. I'm going to put about half of that jar in it, and if I'm not mistaken, it is a what does it look like, a 16 ounce? It's 20 ounce, 1 pound 4 ounces, so it's a 20 ounce. So I'm going to put about 10 ounces of that jug of jelly in it. Then I'm going to add some lukewarm water. This is a big cup. If it's not full to what I wanted, I could just top it off with a little bit of more purified water from my water purifier over here. Now, this is, I guess you could call it kitchen sink wine, but it's a very good tasting wine and has a very high alcohol content. So as you can see, I got everything in the jug now. I got the rice and the jelly, about 10 ounces. Now, it's very important that you remember this water needs to be lukewarm that you put in here. Definitely not hot, but also not cold. You want it to be on the warmer side of lukewarm. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shake it up vigorously. As you can see, I got the top depressed. Now, I've mixed it vigorously. You can see it's a very clean product. Instant white rice, instant brown rice, purified water, about 10 ounces of strawberry jelly. Now you can see that kicker has done rose up a lot. I mean, that flour will give it a bonding agent. The reason why I use this kind of kicker is it's very effective, and when it comes time to drain the wine, it's not very... It's actually a good clean wine when you drain it. It's excellent process. It took me a long time to get this process down just right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a good spoon of this kicker. See how active that is? That's really all you need. But for good measures, I'm going to put one more spoon in it to speed the process up. I would have made a bowl of this if I was going to mass produce it. So, I'd have plenty. I want it to work pretty quick in about 36 hours. Have a good jug of wine, 2 spoons of kicker. It's definitely going to get it going. And, wine making is somewhat similar, totally different outcomes, but somewhat similar to bread making. It's a lot of the similar ingredients, and it's very basic ingredients. The trick is understanding the order of operations you're going to be using. You can still see that kicker going, and it's going to be doing the same thing in that bottle of wine with all that yeast, starch, and sugar. All right, you're going to have a very high content bottle of wine there in about the next 36 hours or so. But what I'm going to do is I got the top on it. I'm going to shake it one more time, not too vigorously, because I don't want to damage the kicker. I just want to kind of mix it around in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a towel and I'm going to wrap it up and make sure that this right here is popped so the wine can breathe. It'll breathe right off in about, I would say, 15, 20 hours or so. You're going to start smelling like something that smells like alcohol, and it's going to be resonating right from the opening in that container. As you can see, I wrapped it up in a towel, and I did it in such a way that I can leave this popped so the wine can breathe, and I can cover it up so it kind of masks the scent of the wine working off a little bit, but it can still breathe. I don't have to fool with it, mess with it no more. I go back in about 12 hours. And when I look in there, what I'm going to see is it working off, because this right here is the engine that, motivates the raw ingredients in the mixture to actually turn into alcohol, turn into wine. I've made this recipe like hundreds of times, made a living at it for years and years while I was in prison, plus doing tattoos and all kind of other things. And, in prison, I'd probably sell this bottle of wine for about $25 because it's going to be high alcohol content wine. And I wouldn't have no problem selling every bottle that I made. Work it. All right? Keep you guys in the loop. See, the yeast is very, very active, that kicker I put in it, right? It's doing the same thing in there with all that sugar and starch it's got. Yeah, it might take, I say about 36 hours, 3 days, maybe even 24 hours, maybe 30 hours. Well, it's been about 20 hours, and I don't know if you can see the bubbles in there working. All right, you can see the beer head on top, and you can probably see the bubbles in there. Anyway, it's very active. About another 10 hours or so, we're going to have some phenomenal homemade wine. So I'm fixing to drain this wine, and I'm going to say it's probably about 35-40% alcohol at this point. The reason why I work so hard to develop this recipe is a lot of times in prison you may only have 2 days safe window when the right officers are working or whatever, where you could really work you off an industrial scale, wine production. 48, maybe you're pushing it with 72 hours. So you need a recipe that's going to work off real quick and give you a real high alcohol volume. So as you can see, it's ready. I'm using a flower colander here. You could use a regular colander. Put yourself a clean bandana in there. Make sure it's thoroughly rinsed, so there's no byproducts, little flakes of cotton or any, soap residue. Rinse it really well. Put it in a bowl, as you can see. And go ahead and drain it. When the bandana is a little moist, it flows through and drains better. So, okay, here we go. If I can not knock it over first. I take the lid off of that. You can smell the alcohol all through my little kitchen here. So, let's go ahead and drain it. All that rice in there is loaded with alcohol. Like a hybrid sake. But it's one heck of a recipe to work you off a quick little run of wine. Make yourself $500 or $600 profit, because if I'm going to make it and take the chance to go into the hole, I'm going to make 30 or 40 bottles worth, That way I can make me some money and I ain't got to do it again for a while. Let's go ahead and drain this up. What I'm going to do is just double this bandana up. Drain everything out of all this rice. Yeah. So here we go. Drain it through. Pure, as high an alcohol count as you can get out of fast, potent prison kitchen sink wine. Okay? Definitely going to get you nice and tipsy. So yeah, it's a finished product. What'd you say it smelled like in here?
Good Lord, it smells like a wine bar in here. Like someone broke into the liquor cabinet.
I tell you what, that wine is about probably 40% by volume. It's like sake. It's fire.
Yeah.
I designed this recipe to be like within 20, like 48 to 72 hours, depending on humidity, heat, and all that plays a part in it. But like as high as alcohol content as possible, and as quick work off time as possible.
That's definitely potent. I can smell it from over here.
So this would be the finished product. I only strained it one time. Still plenty good to drink right now. A good fresh wine almost has like a beer quality to it. I mean, it's obviously wine, but it still has a lot of carbonation going on it. So you're going to get that little carbonated taste, a little bit of it, and because the yeast and the sugar is kind of like a form of natural carbonization, very low levels, but in pure alcohol with like a wine aftertaste. I'll tell you what, them Japanese was on to something with that suki. It's a fast acting recipe, for sure. I'm doing some yard work right now. I just wanted to finish up this prison style homemade kitchen sink homemade wine, man. Really top shelf stuff, man, for what it is. If you follow the recipe, it'll work for you every time. Honestly, it's going to take about between 30 to 60 hours, depending on humidity, heat, etc. So yeah, there you go. Peace.